Grenada Cocoa Association boasts of increased crop production. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Monday, September 21st, 2020, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The Grenada Cocoa Association is boasting of an increase in the production of cocoa in one parish. We hear more about this increase in this Mina Booker report.
COVID-19 may just be the impetus needed for the cocoa industry to advance further, as the Grenada Cocoa Association has recorded a 2% increase in production in one parish despite the implications of the coronavirus pandemic and the lockdown imposed as a result of a state of emergency that was experienced here a few months ago. The increase is one of the accomplishments of the association in 2020. Chairman of the GCA, Christopher Williams, revealed the increase of production in St. David at the GCA's annual general meeting on Thursday, 17th September at the Deluxe Cinema, Grenville. This increase has prompted the association to recommence the buying of wet cocoa and the processing of cocoa beans, having received the permission of the Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association to utilize its Mali facility for that particular purpose. He says the association is pleased to venture into this direction as they aim to meet the international standard status of its buyers and as well as maintain the fine flavor of cocoa beans.
We are committed to letting the farmers have no less than 80 cents in the dollar that we get for cocoa. That commitment will stand as long as I'm chairman. We're not going to lower that. This is about the first time we are ending a cocoa year without much stock on hand. And we give God thanks and praise for that. And we look forward to being able to continue to manage our overdraft so that it would not be a burden for our farmers.
Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Michael Stephen, congratulated the association on the efforts to increase production in St. David.
During the period, there was a slight improvement in production of 2% over the 2018 period, which was attributed mostly to a 45% increase in production in the area of St. David. In this regard, the Ministry of Agriculture wishes to applaud the efforts of the farmers of St. David, which at the same time challenging the farmers in other parishes to replicate this as a part of a national drive to increase production. While an increase in production is excellent news for the industry, it will definitely be more refreshing if such increase coincides with increased prices on the international market, thus realizing greater benefits for hard-working farmers.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Lands challenges the Board of Directors of the Grenada Cocoa Association to be more strategic in the negotiations to avert further deductions in pricing. The Grenada Cocoa Association will continue working on many other initiatives as it aims to continue to increase production and exports of the crop.
What are our plans for the future? The Agricom project, where special farmers would be, especially in the St. David's area where we have done a lot of work, and we have seen St. David's move from the bottom to number 3 in cocoa production. We are working on solar energy for the chocolate factory and the opening of the restaurant, crop insurance for farmers, and the last one, which is mountainous, difficult, modernizing the GCA Act.
For the Ministry of Agriculture, I am Mina Booker.
Thank you, Mina. Sandals Grenada says doing nothing to restart tourism in Grenada is not an option. As a result of this, the hotel has developed what it calls a Platinum Protocol program, which has been shared with tourism partners as a base for restarting the local industry. Over the weekend, Sandals Grenada held a meeting with stakeholders to share the proposed protocol and discuss how it can be adopted by other organizations. The hotel is planning to reopen its doors Thursday, October 1st, 2020. Sandals General Manager Peter Fraser said the protocol program used some of the local health advisories in its quest to protect both lives and livelihoods.
In order to find the right balance, we must first overcome fear and panic. We know the situation is serious, but we also know that unemployment, rising cost of living, rising poverty, rising crime, and the closure of businesses is also pretty serious. I believe we can protect our people while reopening this vital sector. In fact, the Director General of the World Health Organization himself has encouraged developing countries to find this balance. He acknowledged recently that all countries are facing a delicate balance between protecting their people while minimizing the social and economic damage. But he insists that it is not a choice between lives and livelihood. Countries can do both.
CEO Jeff Clark explained that careful consideration was put into the development of the protocols as it can adversely affect the number of visitors to our shores.
The reality of this challenge, according to our travel agent advisory board members, as well as a survey to our over 1 million loyalty members, is the more rigid the pre-arrival process is, the lower the demand for that island. We see this trend in our daily bookings, and more importantly, cancellations for future arrivals. I say this not to recommend for a weak arrival process, but just to share the feedback that we have to consider. As Peter mentioned, a balanced way forward is the successful way forward. Today, we hope to convince you that we are over-prepared to take on this challenge. Our future together is bright.
The hotel will be working along with American Airlines to develop a rapid testing program for visitors traveling to Sandals Hotel in any destination. The protocols will consider online check-ins, frequent cleaning of rooms and changing of linen, fogging and use of chemicals to sanitize rooms, the use of UV lights to check rooms for marks and residues, temperature checks, and the constant supply of PPEs for staff, all geared towards providing a brand new experience for the guest. This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
Protect yourself and our community from COVID-19. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 70% alcohol. Use a tissue when blowing your nose, sneezing, or coughing. Immediately discard the tissue properly and wash or sanitize your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Let's do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. To stay up to date, visit the Government of Grenada's webpage or the Ministry of Health's Facebook page. For more information, contact the Ministry of Health's hotline by calling 53-VIRUS. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back. Government ministers are applauding Sandals Grenada on the steps taken to welcome guests to its property from October 1st. Health Minister Honorable Nicholas Steele stressed the importance of hotels and other organizations adapting to the new way of doing business. He said globally measures must be implemented to protect lives and livelihoods as everyone has to learn to live with COVID-19.
We do have now to focus just as much energy, if not more, to protect livelihoods. And because of that, I welcome the participation of Sandals and everybody else that is here in finding a way forward to do what we always knew we would have to do, which is learn to live with COVID. We've been successful of keeping COVID as best as possible outside of Grenada. It will come. We are seeing resurgence in Europe, continued spread within the United States. So the possibility of saying that we can keep Grenada locked and maintain some form of livelihoods is becoming more and more a reality that is not possible, that we have to find a way to bend some of what we have been holding hard and fast to, but to do so with science, to do so with consultation, and to do so with a common goal, which is to maintain our livelihood. So as we move forward, our catchphrase is, and still continues to be, protecting lives, but is also to protect livelihoods.
Minister Steele pledged his government and the ministry's commitment to make the necessary adjustments to ensure that Grenada is ready to welcome visitors when Sandals reopens its doors.
We may not be perfect, but to get it right, and therefore to have a mechanism to adjust and self-correct as quickly as possible. Under the guidance and advice of Dr. Burt Braffett and those others who are around me that have I get the praises and the criticism, but it is the team. It is only because of the team that we've been able to do this. So thank you all.
Tourism Minister Honorable Clarice Modeste Kerwin reiterated that it can't be business as usual. She challenged hoteliers, tour operators and organizations to get creative, find new adventures and make each experience different for visitors as a means of encouraging them to make Grenada the destination of choice.
We must be innovative. We can't come with the same old. Grandad's Beach will always be Grandad's Beach, beautiful. But people want experience. They want something different because it's going to be harder to convince them to come back. Now that you have little difficulties, they have to sanitize, they have to wear a mask. What are we offering them to say? In spite of having to do these things, you need to come to Grenada. What are we offering? We got to come up, you have to find another way to make diving fun. Because some of our visitors are repeat visitors. And I know we're working on some more underwater sculptors, and I hope very soon we can have those so that we can put that when we market Grenada.
Finally, in the news, the Alliance of Evangelical Churches Grenada took to the streets on Saturday in an island-wide motorcade, giving thanks to God for sparing Grenada during the period of the global pandemic. President Devon Rashay spoke with GIS, saying that the country has many reasons to be thankful.
For us, we believe that because of the favor of God upon this nation, when you look at what is happening throughout the world, we notice that there's a lot of turmoil. We notice that there are many countries, even within the Caribbean region, that is still battling with this pandemic. There's a lot of community spread. There have been many deaths, hundreds of thousands of deaths. And we believe that Grenada has special reason to give thanks. We have not had a single death within our country. And certainly while we sympathize with the families who have lost loved ones in the diaspora and so on, we believe that there are many reasons to give God thanks. I know there are some people who is going to say, well, the pandemic is not over. But in reality, we know the nature of the God that we serve, that He'll always watch over us, that He'll always look over us. And beyond the pandemic, God has always been a good God over this country. And we believe that there's a reason why we should pause to say thank you, united as a church, with one voice and as a nation.
He highlighted other initiatives of the Alliance, one being the delivery of care packages to families in need.
There are many things that we have done. Certainly one of our priorities in this time is the psychosocial support of persons who are dealing with different issues. Some of those issues are spin-off issues out of the pandemic, persons who have lost jobs and that have caused some level of depression in some cases, families that have somehow or the other been placed under other pressures that is either related or sometimes unrelated to COVID-19. And so we will continue giving that type of support.
The motorcade began at the Grenada National Stadium and journeyed through St. David to the north, through the west, and ended in St. George's. That story just ended the national report for today, Monday, September 21st. Let's recap the top story. Grenada Cocoa Association boasts of increased crop production. On behalf of the entire news and production team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.